Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Geeks and Degenerates. Today is a special video since it is in honor of the 45th anniversary of Star Wars. That's pretty impressive,
Old.
right? Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry, that was just me.
Thanks for making people feel old, man. I mean, I do that to you anyway. But yeah, with
Yeah.
me, as you can see, is Jom, and returning is Hazel from our Book of Boba Fett video. Hello, Hazel. What's up?
Which
Hello.
review? Which review?
Book of Boba Fett. What?
Okay. No, like,
But yeah. How did you first come to Star Wars?
do you want our guest to go first, or do you want me?
Let's let Hazel go first.
Alright.
Okay, so what's the question?
How did you first come to Star Wars?
Oh, I was little. I know I was maybe around like 9, I guess. My mom, she had really liked Star Wars, when she was younger, and she had like the original, like, Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett, Han Solo, like action figures. That you can put like a lightsaber in their hand or Han's blaster, and she gave me those toys when I was little. I was like 9 or 10 or something, and she just kind of told me like about them, like what their names were, and just like basic Star Wars stuff. And
Yeah, your mom
I
was
think
like,
that really
sit down,
got
kid,
the-
I'm gonna tell you a story.
that's basically how the ball got rolling for me.
Yeah,
you,
but
John.
for me, I started out with Clone Wars, and mostly the Clone Wars era. So I watched 1, 2, 3 first before watching the old ones. But every time I try to have the chance to watch the old ones, it's always with my brother and sister and my cousins. But they were like, they're way older than me. So every time they want to watch like a scary movie or an action movie or a sci-fi movie, I always want to watch. But of course, the little brother, they don't want the little brother to be in the same room. They want to be with the same aged relatives. And I'm like, so I would see it like right out of the corner, but then like I could never fully watch it until one day. I think I was like 13 when I fully watched A New Hope. I was like, you know what? This is way better than the prequels. Like, what the fuck? I was missing out. What the hell? Like, my entire world when it came to Star Wars was just the Clone Wars era. I never hit this, like, Stormtrooper era. I hate the Stormtroopers. I love the clones all the way, but this shit was good.
Yeah, as for me, like, right before my first Star Wars movie was Revenge of the Sith, and like, my mom gave me this Happy Meal toy from Jollibee. I had no idea what it was at the time. She's like, oh, that's the bad guy. I'm like, oh, cool. And then like a few weeks later, we watched the movie. I'm like, I am so happy that I have the bad guy with me. And yeah,
Just imagining your mom with, like, the hood, the Jedi hood, just like, a future threat you will know.
yeah. And like, yeah, I completely fell in love with the franchise. Not completely. Some movies I'm like, it's okay. But like, for the most part, I'm like, I do love Star Wars, and it is one of my, if not my favorite franchises of all time.
I mean, you had the Star Wars, like, curtains
Yeah,
at the start of our videos.
for the longest time in G&D, I had Darth Vader curtains, so that should attest to how much I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, right from the start, we're thrown into the civil war between the rebellion and the empire, and that tells you that this world is lived in. This world has history in it.
Yeah, as you can tell, like, there's already story been told,
Yeah,
and we're kind of just thrown in the middle of it, which is nice. I like it. And, we also get, like, the introduction to Leia with... like, this was, like, right after Rogue One. After knowing what happened in Rogue One,
Yeah.
I was like,
the sacrifices that were made.
Cool. Yeah, this is kind of cool. They're like, oh, we have the plans to that gigantic weapon up in the sky. And you're like, how do you get that? And then they give us a movie on how they got that. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
it's not a cop out anymore.
And I do love the shot of, small ship and then a massive, massive shipwreck. Damn. The rebellion's toast.
Especially if it's like special effects was like just little models.
And knowing
I love
that the sound of the engine came from a broken down AC unit and some guy's Mattel, you're like, that sound seems to work for a massive ship. Just the small things that like.
Which crew member was like, I got something.
I know. I think it was the lead sound designer because he went to Hoover Dam and an aircraft carrier, and none of the engines were like, it's not loud enough. And then when he was saying it in this Mattel, I was like, you know what? My AC unit kind of sounds like what an engine should be.
The fact that the most futuristic weapons that we've ever seen are just the sound of a broken ass air conditioner.
Yeah. And as you said, we meet Princess Leia, and we also get to the introduction of Darth Vader for the first time. And I like how everything's white for the most part, and you see this something out of another world. You're like, what the fuck is that supposed to be?
I mean, like a room filled with bumbling idiots, which I'm talking about the stormtroopers again. Why would you like those things?
I mean, they do hit people.
They do hit like barriers as well.
That's true. Oh well.
But like from the room of bumbling idiots, you finally see the big boss, kind of like deal. I love seeing Darth Vader here. And did you guys like hear his actual voice? Like Hazel, like did you see like that footage of the actor that's inside the suit speaking?
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like it is not as intimidating as compared to James Earl Jones.
Yeah, it's not as intimidating as Ambassador. What are your plans?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I was like,
How about
And
you,
we also
Hazel?
meet Krennic as well. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the opening of the scene, Hazel?
You mean the beginning of A New Hope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it definitely like takes you right into it, right? Like the very first thing you see a smaller ship being hunted down by a much larger ship, and then these people coming onto the ship and just shooting, and it appears the only time stormtroopers actually hit anybody in all of Star Wars is during that scene. So it's a glorious scene for that. And then, yeah, Darth Vader walks in, and all the halls and the stormtroopers and everything, they're all white. And here's this dark black figure coming into all of that. And it's a lot of symbolism as well as for what the Empire is compared to the Rebellion. And, obviously people seeing it for the first time, they don't know that right away. But, looking back on it in retrospect, it's really it's a genius scene.
Yeah.
And it was shot perfectly.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Joe, this is where we also meet Princess Leia for the first time, handing those plans to R2-D2 to hopefully get them to Obi-Wan Kenobi just in time.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I watched Clone Wars before this, and I was like, wow, 3CPO is really annoying compared to what he was in Clone Wars. I don't like 3CPO all that much. R2-D2 is just beeps and boops. So I was like, all right, you know what? He's an okay character.
Yeah, but the fact that it's just a testament to how well R2-D2 is as a character, that the fact that he's beeps and boops and he can convey emotions to you, like, wow, that's pretty magical.
Yeah, to be honest, like, if all of the cutesy droids don't match up, except for K2SO, don't match up to R2-D2.
Yeah,
I don't count K2SO as a cutesy droid.
Yeah, I just felt bad for R2 when C-3PO was being such a bitch to him in the desert and he just abandons him. Like,
Exactly.
what the hell?
I was like, man, I got the plans, mother. Okay.
And he gets zapped and he just thuds to the ground because of the jaw. It's like, oh my god, you poor thing.
Now we don't have Mando to just blow them away.
Right. Suka. Anyway.
Yeah, I've always kind of wondered like how people who grew up with the prequels feel about Star Wars as a whole compared to someone like me who saw the originals, the only ones that were out at the time. Just the original
Yeah.
three. Now I'm not that old to have been around like when Star Wars came out, but like through VHS and stuff, and my mom's aforementioned like of Star Wars. I was able to watch those, before 1999 came along with the episode 1.
Yeah. I could answer that. Like, I watched the prequels before the sequels, and it was so weird comparing these two, because I was liking the what was this 3 to 6 am I right? 3 to 5, sorry, 3 to 5. 4 to 6, god damn it.
Oh.
I'm forgetting my chronology.
46.
Yeah, 4 to 6. Way more because they used more practical effects. I was 14 at the time when I started watching the older Star Wars movies. They were using more practical effects. They weren't using CGI, which was such an eyesore when it came to watching, Lucas's dumpster fire, which was, except for Revenge of the Sith. And like, I was just so happy seeing ships actually be a model. I'm seeing people like fill up an entire room instead of them just being CGI, and it was much slower compared to the prequels. Like, I appreciated it for being slow, because in the prequels they would always slide cut, and they would show like a battle scene or like a warfield or some shit like that. Battlefield, sorry, my bad. And here it was just mostly dialogue from what I've seen. I will say, lightsaber fights a bit jarring. The biggest selling point of Star Wars was a little bit jarring when it came to the first movie, but of course, it is a product of its time, so I can't really judge for that.
Have you seen Scene 38 Reimagined?
Yes.
Yes, that shit was sick.
Right.
Oh my god!
Where they would deflect the lightsaber, it would hit the roof and sparks would just fly.
Vader does a headbutt. Fuck, it's cool.
Yeah, and Vader would throw his lightsaber, it would stick to the wall, then he would force control it towards Obi-Wan. I was like,
yeah.
oh.
At one point, he's on fire and he doesn't even care.
Been there, done that, Obi-Wan.
But the thing is, with the dialogue for the originals, all of these lines, I think Carrie Fisher said this best, you can type them, but no one speaks like this. And the fact that Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill were able to carry these lines and sell them so well. Well, in the prequels, we know that these are some of the best actors on the planet. For fuck's sake, Liam Neeson was in Schindler's List and Natalie Portman was in Black Swan, but for some reason, they can't really sell it. They're like, yeah, that's why, again, a testament to how great Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill are, that we're like, what's this? I'll make it work. I'll make this work.
Dude, the fact that Mark Hamill was there, I was so surprised, because I didn't think that Mark Hamill would act this way. Because I'm so used to him as being the Joker.
Right.
Again, I'm a kid.
Dude, that's crazy. For someone to be alive in this world to say that they know Mark Hamill from the Joker instead of Luke Skywalker. Oh my, what?
I grew up with Batman first before Star Wars. Are you okay?
He's just dying oh my god.
You see the wrinkles popping in, gray hair coming out.
Help.
My soul just aged.
Well, speaking of Mark Hamill, we also meet him, and he's a bit of a complainer, I would say.
Yeah, he was a little bit whiny.
Yeah.
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 They first get another aspect that explodes. What the fuck? Why?
Right? And when he first gets to the lightsaber, he looks down the barrel. I'm like, alright. I'm surprised. Like Obi-Wan's like, okay, wait, whoa.
Give me the metal thing for another time, Luke.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get the droids, and it's just weird knowing that C-3PO knows the ancient language of Sith. Like, that's something new. Oh well.
You know,
Right.
there's something there's a little something about that scene where Uncle Owen and Luke get the droids.
Yeah. It's like,
Because you know how they originally they get C-3PO as a translator, and then they get the R4 unit, the red one,
yeah,
and then it breaks down, and C-3PO recommends, you know, his buddy R2. Now this isn't exactly official canon, but the most popular theory is that R2 spoke to R4, telling him of his mission to save the galaxy from the Death Star, and to malfunction if he gets picked, so R2 can continue on his mission.
damn. Speaking of scenes that make you go, wait a minute. Like, there's a scene where Luke is arguing with his uncle, and his aunt's like, "Well, don't be so hard on him." It's like, I just don't want him to end up. No, he has so much traits like his father. And Uncle Owen goes, "That's what I'm afraid of." I'm like, foreshadowing.
What do you mean by
What do you mean?
right? And like, and then yeah, we get Ben, who is just like a neighbor, not really a neighbor, but just a walking
Yeah,
nomad kind of deal.
Yeah.
you know something. You know there's a line, and it's so appropriate because you know it's the 70s, right? And this was like a little known like indie film. You know what I mean? When Star Wars came out, this was an indie film. It didn't have much promotion. You could tell in like the set design and stuff that they didn't have a very large budget, and so it's just appropriate to its time. But there's a line that makes me laugh every time it's said now, and it has to deal with Luke saying something. Damn it, what were you just talking about?
Was this Ben coming in?
Ben coming in.
Oh yeah, Ben. Yeah, okay. The line is, Droid says he belongs to someone called Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Could he be talking about Ben Kenobi? Like, first of all, Obi-Wan, you couldn't have chose a better name. You're like an exiled Jedi hiding from Inquisitors and shit, and the Empire, and you've returned this boy to his home planet with his family, and you use your real name to look over him? You just drop the Obi and make it like Ben? Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ben Kenobi. Oh yeah, they're not the same people. Definitely not.
Definitely
No,
not.
no. What does a Jedi look like anyway? Oh.
Right?
Yeah, right. It's not like Ben Kenobi isn't wearing his fucking Jedi robes throughout the entire movie.
Right? Man looking like straight up came out of the council.
Yeah. Also, I like how out of the two droids, R2's the bravest one, because after he shows the message to Luke, and Luke's like, I don't know what to do. He just wanders through the desert by himself. Like, you know what? Fuck this. I have a mission.
You know, I mean, after what, again, I watched Clone Wars before this. And I've seen R2 do some crazy shit in that show.
Right?
I mean, like, that's right in character.
But the poor guy got tortured by Jawas and, like, is about to be beaten up by Tusken Raiders, and Obi-Wan's here going like, I don't know this droid. No, and R2's not like, wow, asshole. I've known you since the Clone Wars.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time R2 has encountered the droid that betrayed him. Remember that one black R2? The black and gold R2? That was supposed to replace him? And then, like, later on into the episode, he has this whole Simba and Scar moment where he just pushes him off like a cliff.
Long
I was like,
King.
exactly. And so I'm like,
You see,
he's used to it.
for us, right? Like, so, okay, experiencing R2 in the original trilogy, right?
Yeah.
And then going to, at the time, the new movies, the prequels, and then we see, like, I think, what was it? Was it in episode 2 or 3? One of those. We see R2 spill some oil all over the B1 battle droids, or the B2 super battle droids, and then they drop him, and he has the little rockets,
Yeah.
it's like that moment. It's like that moment in Rise of Skywalker when the stormtroopers start flying with the jetpacks. They're like, they can fly now. They
Right?
fly now. For people who saw the original trilogy first and then saw that with R2, it was like, he can fly now? He can
The
fly
fuck?
now.
I forgot. R2 can actually boost a bit.
Yeah, it's like seeing Boba Fett surrounded by enemies. Like, you have a jetpack, you idiot.
Exactly.
But yeah, we hit on the scene of Jomar going like, him talking to Luke and Obi-Wan saying, "This was your father's lightsaber. Please be careful with it." Also, he killed 30 children, but that's for another time.
This is the blade that killed
Yeah,
30
right?
children.
Yeah. Though the lines hit hard when he's like, he was a good friend and the best pal. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yo, you can see Obi-Wan has some real PTSD going on in that scene.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. I gotta say, though, sorry if I'm moving 2 movies ahead, but I already knew what the ending was when it came to watching the older movies where, yeah, Anakin becomes Darth Vader. But seeing this and, like, Luke doesn't know and they're trying to hide it from him, I was like, this kind of hurts. Especially for Obi-Wan. The fact that he actually, like, goes toe-to-toe with Darth Vader after their whole fight in Mustafar. For sure, they had a fight in between.
I mean, that's
Which
Kenobi.
which we'll see in Kenobi. But knowing the fact that, like, dead. And watching Clone Wars, I was like, they're really good friends.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing we had Clone Wars to expound. Otherwise, if we just had the prequels, you'd been like, yeah, your dad was a little shit. Sorry, man.
He didn't like sand.
It didn't like sound weird.
That's why I put you here. This entire desert was to keep him away from you.
And then going to the point that maybe sometimes stormtroopers do hit stuff because you see the rolling 7-Eleven thing just destroyed and like, oh, it's the Tusken Raiders, and Kenobi's like, no, it's stormtroopers. Can you see the blast marks? And then Luke's like, oh no, they led them home. And very quickly after seeing his aunt and uncle's dead bodies, he goes like, all right, Obi-Wan, let's go to Mos Eisley. Like, okay.
Be honest.
Yeah, also, Ben says to Luke that, only Imperial stormtroopers are that precise. And then they never hit a single thing ever again.
If he said, like, clone troopers are that precise, that would be a more interesting story. But, yeah, no. That was a weird thing, too, for me, was when we saw the dead bodies of Uncle Owen and, what was the name of the aunt?
Aunt Beru.
Her name? Yeah. I was like, oh, it's that kind of movie. They could show that in the 70s? I was like, what?
What they've shown in the 70s, they definitely could.
I didn't watch a lot of 70s movies back
Alright.
then, man.
Have you seen the figures of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru?
Yeah! To be honest, I was. Hot Toys, get on it.
And then for a bit, we go back to the Death Star. And they're having this meet, and you meet Peter Cushing as
Krennic.
Grand Tarkin.
Sorry, no, not Krennic.
Tarkin.
Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. Oh, God.
Enough Tarkin.
Oh, God. My favorite corporate badass.
Yeah, who was Governor Tarkin before that.
Yeah.
And
But God, the chemistry between him and Darth Vader, though.
you can tell he's his
Like,
boss. He's like, Vader,
Yeah.
Vader, stop.
you could tell that Vader could just tap everybody in the ship, but for some reason, he follows his orders. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's an amount of respect to this commander for Vader to be like, alright, this is not my room anymore.
Yeah,
And just steps back a bit. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's so good.
that's why, for me, when it comes to the Imperial side for this movie, the biggest badass is Tarkin. Because he
Yeah.
has Vader's leash, like, you can stop choking him now.
Yeah, but then you get to see that one scene where he meets up with Leia. And he does that bad guy thing where he just takes up space, like, goes too close to Leia.
Yeah.
And, like, taking up her personal space. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
For me, that was a moment I was like, you don't need to wear black and have a red lightsaber to be badass.
Yeah.
You just have to be terrifying in your own presence.
And then Leia's like, I'll give you the planet, and gives him the fake planet. And he's like, yeah, I know you're lying to me. I'm gonna blow up your homeworld anyway. So I have a question. If a couple breaks up in Leia's home planet, are they looking for love in all their own places?
Good joke. Good joke. Delivery was sweet. Delivery was sweet.
Oh well, I tried.
All the wrong places. Son of a bitch.
Sorry.
Man, you don't even want
That's
kids when you're
horrible.
you already have the dad jokes up. And also, yes, that was an entire planet, you son of a bitch.
I think I love the weather report. You have seen on the season, like Monday for Alderaan, it's like sunny, and then Tuesday it's still sunny, and then Wednesday it's just nothing.
You gotta love how, like, in a completely different planet, they still have Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday.
Right? Anyway, we go back to Mos Eisley, and then we see the Force used again for the second time, because the first time was the I find your lack of faith disturbing. Here, Obi-Wan's in the open going, these are not the droids you're looking for. And like the other stormtroopers like are not like, what the fuck? Why are you agreeing with him? Why are you repeating everything he says? And they're not like, oh,
Right?
it's a Jedi.
I always thought of that, right? Like, okay, so you're mind fucking the dude you're talking to, but what about the 5 dudes around him? Like, they can hear you.
They're like, they got Brad. Something's up with Brad. He doesn't talk like this.
Yeah. They're not like, oh, it's a Jedi. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, no, that was the thing, though. I get it that they would like hesitate a bit because they still, maybe majority of the galaxy believes that Jedi's don't exist anymore. Maybe they all think that they're all extinguished. But still, you see this guy going, and like your friend's not talking the same way. I'm like,
Yeah.
something's up.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of true, right? Like, not even so much that like people think that the Jedi were myths, but more like legends, right?
Yeah.
Almost like, depending on like which mythology you get into, like there are gods, but then there are also titans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, because we see that in Rogue One, when Jin asks if Chirrut is a Jedi, and Baze says, no, there are no Jedi here anymore, just dreamers like this fool.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Jeddah was a holy city for the for the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that when we meet Han and Chewie, even Chewie, Han asked Chewie, was like, "Do you believe in that stuff?" I guess I don't know how to make it Chewie sound.
And like, Chewie, you fought with Yoda. What the fuck? Are you
Exactly.
talking
I
about?
was like, I'm going back a bit, like to episode 3. I was like, wait a minute.
Right?
And I just see like Yoda going, "Goodbye, Chewbacca." I'm like, what? You fought with him? Wait, also one thing. How old is Chewbacca? For fuck's
Right.
sake?
Also, like, we also meet those 2 criminals where this guy has so much cheese. It's like, he doesn't like you. I don't like you either. I'm wanted in 12 systems. I'm like, wow, big talker. All right. And he causes trouble, and then Obi-Wan slices off his arm, and he starts a big talker anymore.
We see those two in Rogue One.
Yes. Yes, we do. And I love that callback.
Me too. Like, well, soon enough, you won't have one of those arms.
Yeah. And you gotta love how we have this whole Inglorious Bastard scene from Han, where he just shoots from underneath the table to this one guy. I forgot what was happening.
He was like, Jabba wants his money, and then so I was like, I have his money.
Oh yeah, Greedo. Greedo's the bounty hunter sent out by Jabba to collect the bounty on Han for the money he owes him.
Yeah.
And originally, Han just blows Greedo away.
Yeah.
But
No.
But George felt that it wasn't appropriate because they didn't want kids to paint Han Solo as a bad guy or glorifying that because he's a good guy.
oh,
I mean-
okay. I mean, I guess, but at the same time, I would have liked it if they represented Han as like the anti-hero, the loose cannon type.
Rough around the edges, but like still would shoot you if you threatened him, like no
Exactly.
question.
Exactly. And the fact that, like, that was the thing that George was worried about, not showing kids a burnt-ass body from Uncle Owen. Like,
Priorities.
okay, George, your priorities are kind of weird.
Oh, before we move forward,
Right, I mean that was a decision, like the change that he made where Greedo shoots and Han digitally moves his head and then he shoots. George, he has stated that he's never really liked doing that or the reasons why he did that. And on the set of one of the Indiana Jones movies, either this new one or the last one for the Crystal Skull, whatever, he was photographed on set of Indiana Jones wearing a T-shirt that says Han shot first.
I want that. Honestly.
also before we move forward, like there's a scene when they enter the bar that the bartender points to 3PO and R2. He's like, "We don't serve their kind here." I'm like, "Huh? What do you mean?"
Base racists!
Right? Like, what are you
Oh my god!
What are you gonna serve them in the first place, you asshole?
Oh, there's really some racist shit in Star Wars if you want to go that route.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a startling discovery the other day.
What's up?
Padme is racist.
Explain.
Go on.
Go on.
Anakin comes to Padme when they're on Tatooine in Episode 2 after murdering men, women, and children of the Tusken Raiders. After, he found his mom and she died there in his arms, he murdered all of the Tuskens, right? And she's, really upset and worried about him because, his mom is dead and, oh, that's so horrible. And she just gets over it very quickly. And then Obi-Wan, in Episode 3, comes to her saying that Anakin has killed younglings, right? Other humans. And she's all terribly upset. And she can't believe it, and she's denying it. No way Anakin would do that. So when it's an alien race, you're okay with it, but when it's your own race, it's horrible.
It's like, Enzo, can we name this episode Padme Racist?
Question mark.
I love that. Like, Padme, come on, at least your husband believes in equal rights. That's the fact that he would kill both sides. No remorse.
Oh my god. And when Obi-Wan came to her, she's like, actually there was an episode where he killed men, women, and children. Tatooine.
Yeah. Yeah. Forgot.
Right?
It wasn't that bad. They were just Tusken Raiders.
How dare you? But yeah, we get to the ship that is the Millennium Falcon, the piece of junk that is a character on its own, like any other ship in any franchise. Like, if you take the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy, like, it's not complete without Star-Lord or one of the Guardians. But like, you can get the Falcon itself and be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, look, are you gonna get Han or Chewie? Nah.
Yeah.
I got no space on the shelf. The thing's fine.
Right. And just the effects. The effects still hold up for the most part. Because when it's going to hyperspace, I'm like, that's so cool.
Again, dude, you can't beat an actual model, being filmed when, of course they didn't have CGI back then.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, this looks legit.
Right?
I mean, they're not trying to make I would say that it was a little bit easier for people in Star Wars to make effects like this because they weren't relying on like making a dinosaur come alive. You know how old movies were like, right? They were trying to make ships feel like gigantic things. That was it. So you just have to film a little bit closer, fix the shadowing, and then that's it. Go. For sure, it's a lot more complicated than that, but it's way easier than stop motion dinosaurs and making it look realistic.
Mm-hmm. I like Luke. Obi-Wan starts Luke's training as a Jedi, and he's deflecting the thing.
Oh yeah, he was doing the thing that the younglings were doing before they were murdered.
Yes.
Exactly.
And like Han Solo's like, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster by your side. I like how by the end he's like, yeah, it's all true. I'm an idiot.
You gotta love how Han was kind of still of a skeptic.
Yeah.
While Luke was training with Obi-Wan in his ship. And I'm like, it's right there.
And again, Chewbacca, I'm like, actually, Han, there's this little green
there was
guy.
this little shit that told me orders and shit.
But yeah, he tells him to put the visor down, and he has better luck with that because he can feel the Force. And they're approaching Alderaan, and Alderaan's not there. It's just gone. But there's a space station, a really big space station, with a very powerful tracking beam, too.
Oh, yeah.
Then I don't know how they're not heard, but they managed to sneak on board the Death Star.
To be honest, yeah. Why wasn't there like an entire team just like, ready? You're like, there's an unfamiliar ship that just come aboard this, giant ass weapon.
They're not worried that a random ship found their ultimate weapon.
Right? Like, does every trader just come in and out?
Yeah. Like, sir, do you have your registration? Yes. Oh, you may go.
Right.
Well, I'm pretty sure that there's actually a scene, in the movie, where, like during that part when the Millennium Falcon's being brought aboard the Death Star, where there's mention of perhaps, I think Darth Vader says it to one of the officers, the Imperial officers, that they may have been trying to return the princess's plans to her. So they are suspicious of it because Darth Vader thinks that perhaps that's what's going on, and he's exactly right.
Yeah.
So there is actual mention of that
okay.
during that scene.
Yeah, and Vader's like, I sense a presence I haven't felt since. I gotta go.
Oh, that's some bitch.
Yep.
And then they get to the control panel, and R2, being the Swiss knife that he is, finds Princess Leia while Obi-Wan goes on his own stealth mission.
Yeah, and there's a part where you see that scene that was ripped off in Force Awakens where they steal, like, the helmet and then, sorry, the clone trooper outfits. My God, I don't know what's up with me. I just woke up. But yeah, they were all in disguise, and then they actually fall into the trash compactor thing.
Yeah, but I do like when they rescue Leia, when they're about to rescue Leia, Han's like, how are you? Nothing's going on? How's your day? And the guy's like, yeah, that's not a stormtrooper.
He's like, who is this? What's your operating number?
Oh, fuck.
Like he's going through somebody's wallet, like one of the clone troopers' wallet. Visa.
And you see from the scene that Leia does know how to handle herself. She's one of the few first strong female characters in sci-fi. Or, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the history of movies, but like, this is before Ellen Ripley. So this is pretty impressive and mind-blowing back in the day.
Yeah, where the girl would be holding a gun and firing.
Yeah.
I can't remember the accuracy of this, so don't exactly hold this as 100% true. But if my memory serves me correct, I believe that part when Han is responding to the Imperials on the comm there when they're in the cell block, I believe George Lucas didn't give him any lines to say while he was at the console. So everything that you got was ad-libbed by Harrison Ford on the spot. And when he
Amazing.
shot it and said it was a boring conversation anyways, that was still all him.
Oh man.
Well,
I
there,
love him.
that's acting chops to Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
You gotta love Harrison Ford. You know the man's just done with acting.
And this movie pretty much shot him to stardom because after this he got Indiana Jones. That's when his
Yep.
career took off. But yeah, as you mentioned, they fall into the trash pile and there are things. I don't know how the Empire lets a monster in their sewer just let loose. Like, alright, that's fine.
I mean, it is space.
Yeah, but how did the
You know,
monster...
I've always just thought that you know, I mean, this is totally wrong for the reason I'll explain. But I always thought, you know, maybe some like random alien took a poop, and that's what the alien's poop is. It's a living creature outside of this alien anus.
That makes sense.
Oh, it doesn't.
It does, but it doesn't.
I mean,
Because have you ever seen a race outside? I mean, inside the Empire that isn't human? Have you ever seen a non-human in the Empire? Ever?
Oh, because they're space Nazis.
yeah, they're races. They're space races. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
aside from Tron, but that's about it.
Okay. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I will stick to that theory, but I would say Stormtrooper ate something in another planet, had a parasite in it, and pooped it out. And there you go. You have that thing. I don't know how that thing hasn't
That could
died.
work.
I don't know how that thing hasn't died from being compacted into the trash.
Maybe it's a cockroach. Or their version of a cockroach.
That's terrifying. The fact that it can pull you down into the trash.
But yeah, it's up to R2 to save them. And like, again, if it weren't for R2, we would have episode 5 or 6. So there we go.
R2 is the unsung hero of Star Wars.
Yes.
Like, R2 deserves a medal on that ceremony.
Yes.
There would be so many times where our main characters would have died if it was not for R2.
Yeah, if he didn't like shoot his prod into this thing, just sort of hacking the system. Like, come on. I mean, I feel like R2 did more to benefit the rebellion. The robot deserves more of a medal. Rebellions are also racist.
I know, right?
Just to another race.
And I do like the sequence of like Princess Leia being done with everybody's shit. She's like, please don't shoot the alarm. For fuck's sake. Alright. And
Yeah.
Han's solo charge. He's like, I'll take care of this. And he charged against the stormtroopers. And he sees the entire platoon. He's like, I made a mistake. I'm going back.
Hey, don't worry, hon. They ain't gonna hit you.
Yeah.
And I love that, like, that scenes where we see, like, stormtroopers marching out, and you see that one really tall stormtrooper that just hits his head on the door. I was like, alright.
Apparently the guy got a concussion too.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that thing ain't really a helmet. Right?
Yeah.
It's plastic.
That's why he's kind of stumbling around to him. Like, is that guy okay?
And yeah, majority of, like, the helmets, like, it's not even sit, right? It's, like, a little bit to the sideways when you see one standing at attention.
And
Oh, God.
are you okay?
Hazel?
Hazel?
Oh, yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Did you sneeze?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, God.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, also we get the sequence of Luke and Leia swinging across the bridge, and Leia gives him a kiss, which Yeah. Yeah, in retrospect, it's like, at least it's on the cheek.
Was it? I remember she kissed him on the lips.
No, I saw this recently. It's in the cheek, so you don't have to panic. She didn't French kiss him like an Empire.
Oh, there we go. I think I'm
No,
mistaken.
that,
That's
not that scene where he, like, you know, used his Batman utility belt to use the grappling hook to swing across the gap
yeah.
Yeah,
that he never ever used again.
right?
It's a force.
Yeah, see, she kissed him on the cheek there, but she kissed him full on the mouth when she was with him after he got wrapped up by the Wampa in episode 5.
Right. It was just a mind games thing to make Han jealous. But at the same time, it was like,
Right.
that's your brother!
It's also, I mean, people can, think whatever they want, especially about a complete work of fiction. But it's been explained that kisses in Alderaanian culture means something else than just like the romantic kiss.
This is just George trying to justify his whole incest plot.
Just also George had no idea. Like, they're siblings. Why?
No, it's a thing in their planet. Wait, I can explain.
But George, they came from the same mother. Who's from Naboo?
No, it's tradition. You wouldn't
I could imagine if somebody was like filming the confrontation that someone in the studio had with George Lucas at that moment. It's like, okay, the camera's on George, right? He's at his desk, he's going over a script.
Yeah.
Some dude from the studio comes into his office and he's like, yeah, I just watched the first edit of this Star Wars movie you're making. You realize you got some insects in your movie? And all I imagine is George looking up with big old eyes behind them, big glasses, a freeze frame, cuts the black and white, and the voice comes over and says, it was at this moment he knew he fucked up.
It is the fact that, like, this is what George has to live with, is that he allowed brother and sister incest to happen in this movie.
It's tradition in Alderaan. Like, but George, they're from the same mom from Naboo. Explain.
You know what I would love? If George just has like an entire like court board just explaining the plot of the kiss, ready for anyone who asks the question.
Anyway, after all the silliness, we get the final confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader, and I do like how it's set up because it's just quiet. After all this silliness with Luke and Han and Leia, there's a quiet confrontation, and you see Vader from afar, and he's ready to fight, and so is Obi-Wan. And as you mentioned, it's not the best choreographed, but in '77, that's the best.
It's two old men fighting with their canes.
It's two old men, yes. I will agree with that. Like, the actor for Obi-Wan was there, the one holding the stick. They didn't put the hood up and changed it for a stunt double. It was him trying to do choreography. I give the actor respect for that. And I, like, say what you will, oh, it's a boring fight, it's just two old men touching tips with their sticks. Sure, make that joke. But then again, it is him doing the stunt.
Yeah.
I gotta give respect on that one. I will say though, yes, I agree. It is a boring fight compared to the rest of the lightsaber fight scenes we've seen in the past. Or future.
No, that's
I
Penny
mean,
does.
even episode 5 and 6 had better choreography. But again, that's because, with the success of this small indie movie called Star Wars, they got bigger budget and they were able to do more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, they had to work with what they had. And I will say, it is still a 5 out of 10 fight scene for me. Maybe 4 out of 10. but I still give it respect for what it had.
That spinning
So
that he does, I'm like, he does it so I'm surprised Vader doesn't just deck him behind the head.
it was a little bit slow. You just expect Vader to just nudge him forward, breaks his back.
I do have a little bit of like canon to add in to like that whole final scene with Vader and Obi-Wan. When Obi-Wan told Darth Vader, you know, that if you strike him down, he'll become more powerful than he can possibly imagine. It's in canon that so spoilers for the Darth Vader comic books if anybody reads those. It's in canon through those comics that Darth Vader truly believed that what Obi-Wan was saying was just another Jedi lie. It was a Jedi deception to try to trick Vader into possibly not killing him, whatever. Right? And it wasn't until between episodes 5 and 6 that Vader comes to learn the truth through Palpatine that Obi-Wan was indeed telling the truth, and because he is now one with the Force and able to commune with Luke still, that he was true to his word and he did become more powerful than at that time he could have possibly imagined.
Which kind of shows as well at the last scene when, you know, Luke's flying into this the Death Star and him communicating to Luke. Like if if Obi-Wan didn't tell him that, he would have missed.
Yeah.
With that one, like, was this that one shot, that 1 in a million shot that he needed?
Yeah. I do like the fact that he accepts his death too. It's like, all right, this is it.
Yeah. I feel like Kenobi is gonna be the Logan of Obi-Wan, where he's like, I want to rest, but I have a duty.
Yeah. And it's right in front of Luke, and that stays with him. Like, that's why, for me at least, it plays into Return of the Jedi when Luke's like, alright, I accept my fate. Whether my father saves me or not, I accept it. But he's like, Dad, please, have second thoughts. That cursity sucks. But yeah.
But I will say, going back a bit, that one scene where Luke goes inside shooting, and you see like the group just like try to pull him back into the ship. I was like, wow, that was just a large target of like a friend group, and you couldn't hit one of them. Really?
I do like that he has a more emotional response to some guy he just met over his aunt and uncle who raised him.
I don't know. He didn't really meet Ben. Ben was there.
Yeah,
he's always been there.
He knew Ben. See the story with Luke and Ben kind of reminds me of the story of Marty and Doc, right, from Back to the Future, where Marty's just this kid who's hanging out with this older, crazy kind of guy, you know, who's all real wise and stuff, knows a lot of things. You know, it's kind of like Luke and Ben. And Ben, you know, like, I guess in his disguise, kind of lives up to that, you know, because even Uncle Owen says something to Luke along the lines of, I don't want you hanging out with that crazy old codger or something. He says something like that.
Yeah.
I hope that's more expounded on in the Kenobi series too. Like, why are you so mad at Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah, maybe something happens, or maybe they're just playing along. Maybe they're like, hey, we're trying to keep this kid away from the Jedi Order and the Sith as much as possible, because he could end up to be Vader 2.0.
Right. And then they make it back to Yavin 4, and then they have the plans, and they launch an attack against the Death Star at the same time the Death Star's already there. So it's a race against the clock. And like, even though I've seen this movie a lot of times, I'm still like gripping the edge of my seat. Also because of Rogue One, I'm like, Luke, if you don't succeed, it's all for nothing.
Do you know what was the first experience I had with a Death Star reference? It was in Powerpuff Girls.
Explain.
So there's a scene where...
Hell.
Yeah. So there was like this whole plot with Bubbles trying to fight the boogeyman. and their last confrontation was in this planet. Oh, sorry, like it's like a moon. Sorry, it was a disco ball, for fuck's sake. Because the boogeyman liked parties. And it's Bubbles going through, like, the same scene as Luke. And the boogeyman comes in with his ship, which was a limo with, like, TIE fighter sides to it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I watched this movie, and I was like, ah!
I need to get screenshots of that scene then.
Dude, trust me, Powerpuff Girls was sick. Anyway, we're not talking about Powerpuff Girls.
But yeah, Han takes up first because he's like, I already got my reward. And Luke's like, alright, man, I thought you would fight for us, but sure, you do you. But yeah, the scene's amazing because of the effects they do. And again, I'm still holding the edge of my seat. I'm like, I hope they win. I know the answer to my question, but I still hope. Because again, the music also plays a big part. We're like, alright, it's the grand finale. The fact that Vader himself's like, I'm gonna take care of some business.
Yeah. I mean, we do see a couple of, was this? X-Wings just go out. So you're really worried, like, oh shit. They can actually, like, main characters might die in this one.
Yeah.
And I'm scared. I know it might not be the main character, but somebody we care about might die.
Whoever came up with the name. Oh, so go ahead, Hazel.
No, I was just gonna say that the one cool thing, cool to me anyways, with Vader, is that we know, through episode 3 and everything, Obi-Wan's like, you're supposed to be the chosen one, you're supposed to bring balance to the Force,
Yeah.
and all this stuff, Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one and bring balance to the Force and so on and so forth. And a lot of people think, especially after seeing episode 3, that he wasn't, right? That it was a false prophecy, or the prophecy was wrong in some way, and that he wasn't actually the chosen one who would do this. But the truth is, he is, or he was. The whole time he was the chosen one, because in him becoming Darth Vader, and then executing, with Emperor Palpatine executing Order 66, where it made Jedi enemy of the Empire. They were all to be hunted down and killed. He did bring balance to the Force, because with the Sith there's the rule of 2, so there's only 2 Sith at any given time. So getting rid of mostly all of the Jedi in the galaxy did indeed bring balance to the Force.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So genocide is the answer.
What the fuck? Alright. No one said that. It's him.
Well, no, because the thing with prophecies, right, is that they're usually seen as a good thing, right? When people hear the word prophecy, even if they don't hear what the story is, they generally think that it's a good thing, and that he's the chosen one, he's supposed to bring balance to the Force, he's supposed to do this wonderful thing. But it's not that wonderful when you find out what it is.
Yeah.
But he did indeed do it.
I was about to say, like, whoever came up with the name of Porkins must be really mean, too. Like, the poor actor, like, what's my character name? Porkins, fuck you.
God, that one of the X-Wing pilots was named Porkins.
But yeah,
you gotta love how the only people who got shot down was another species of alien and a fat guy.
Oh, and Vader also takes down Rogue Red Leader. I'm like, damn.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then
Yeah, if you like the pilots and like the space scenes and stuff from episode 4, you should go and rewatch Rogue One at the end when they're over the hell's Edu, the jungle planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used some digitally remastered scenes that were cut out of A New Hope. So you actually have film from 1977 or 76, whenever it was filmed, in Rogue One and it's so seamlessly just put into the new stuff that most people don't even realize that they're seeing the actors, some of the actors that they may have had a quick shot on in the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm gonna rewatch it now. I didn't even fucking notice.
I mean, and canon since rebellions aren't big, and they don't have a lot of money, so they're like, he's Red Leader forever, I guess, until he gets taken out.
Exactly. There's no retirement plan. There's no 401k there.
Exactly. But yeah, Luke is too preoccupied by using his computer, and then you get the scene of Obi-Wan going, "Use the Force, Luke." And he puts down his targeting computer, and no one in the command center, they're so calm, they're like, "What's up with your targeting computer?" They're not like, "What the fuck are you doing?" There's one shot!
Screaming at him in the comms, like, put it back up! No, but like, you see Luke, like, just shoot the beam, and for some reason it goes this way.
Yeah. I also like Han coming in clutch and Vader going, "What?"
Ah!
Yeah, right?
But yeah, thanks to Galen Erso and Luke, they're able to blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, and also, I love that later down the years, probably like 30 years later, 50? 40 years later, they answer that, why does Leia have the plans for the Death Star? This is why. We got Rogue One. And why was the hole so big enough that you could actually shoot something in it and blow up the entire thing? Because of Galen Erso's dad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Galen Erso's dad, which is Galen Erso.
Yeah, and the biggest joke of the originals is something, not a joke, like, ah.
Yeah, it was all planned. And I was like, there you go, George. Now you just have to make a movie about the incest.
Why Star Wars doesn't have any guardrails.
I also don't know. Right? Like, the engineers, they have to, like, adjust something. And they're, like, just... There's, like, this platform without any guardrails. Somebody could just push a co-worker off and just, like, never hear from them again.
Right?
I mean, we see it throughout Star Wars. We see it in The Mandalorian. We see it in the originals, the prequels, the sequels, the single Star Wars movies of Solo, Rogue One. We see it in all of this Star Wars material that there are no guardrails. None.
In the future, safety doesn't exist.
Yeah. There's no insurance plans too.
There's no guardrails, there's no guards on the lightsabers either. So you could cut your hand off willy-nilly.
I mean, Kylo Ren had one.
See?
Yeah.
What's that? They're learning.
They're learning.
They're learning.
They're learning. But yeah.
Nah, the only reason why his lightsaber looked more like a traditional sword is because his kyber crystal was unstable. It was cracked.
Yeah.
So
it needed the extra vent too.
Yeah, the venting of the energy, right, caused the creation of the crossfires.
Yeah. But yeah, they make it back to Yavin 4, and they have a celebration. They have medal ceremony, and just like her mom, Princess Leia is also racist because she doesn't give a medal to the Wookiee and the droids.
Oh my god! Wait, she doesn't give a medal to
Chewbacca? Yeah.
Chewbacca?
Yeah, he's just standing there.
That's the whole thing. Like, that's been a thing that Chewbacca never got a medal, and then in the Rise of Skywalker, he gets a medal finally from the original Star Wars.
Oh my god! At that
Because
moment,
it's because Leia died. Leia had to die for this male thing to fucking get a medal.
Leia was the royal family. Leia was the Queen of England. The hierarchy just had to die.
honestly, at that moment, like, no, you're not saving this movie because of the fucking medal. Fuck you.
Oh my god! Hazel makes a point. The fact that Chewie got the medal when she died. It's so funny.
Yeah, like, there wasn't a medal made for Chewie. Chewie ended up getting hers when she died.
Like, here, buddy, here's your participation medal.
Padme and Leia, actual bad guys of the galaxy? Question mark.
But yeah, we reached the end of the movie, and I don't need to say, but this movie made bank because people kept watching it again and again, and also got nominated for Best Picture, ultimately losing to Annie Hall. Best Picture and Best Score by John Williams. Nominated,
Right.
yeah, won for Best Score and then nominated for Best Picture, but lost to Annie Hall. So there we go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but like, the government of Australia once sent a census to like just fill up these things, and they got mad because they're like, can you please stop putting Jedi as your religion? Jedis aren't a thing.
Who are
is,
you
though.
to say? Exactly.
Ask the
Who are
government.
you to say?
I don't know the Australian government.
Jediism is a thing. Like, Jedi as a religion is an actual recognized religion in this world. It has the same protections and tax exemptions as any other religion. And what started off originally as a joke in the UK in 2001 with their census, people were putting Jedi as their religion, but then it actually turned into a full-fledged official religion. The religion isn't about that at all. It has nothing to do with lightsabers or George Lucas or any story in Star Wars whatsoever. It's very meditative and peaceful and calm, and it's more monk-like than you might actually think that it would be.
All right.
Do they get the Jedi
And
robes?
there's ranking and structure within the Jedi Order or the specific temple that a person could belong to. In the order, you can be a Padawan, right? And then you can become an apprentice of a Jedi Knight or a Master and become a Jedi Knight yourself. And it's basically just rigorous studying of the religious texts, basically like the 23 maxims of Jediism, filling your initiate book, like your journal, things that you have to write down for overseeing and approval of those with higher ranks in order for you to become higher within the ranking system. It's a very interesting religion. I am a Jedi myself, actually. I
Oh my
became
God.
one.
All right.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I finished all of my initial training. I became an apprentice for 6 months. I actually went through an accelerated apprentice program, just due to personal time constraints. It usually takes about a year of apprenticeship to gain knight status. I did it in 6 months, for the aforenamed reasons. So within the religion, I am a Jedi Knight. And when you become a Jedi Knight, you choose what your Jedi name is, and mine is Phoenix Blaze.
Hey,
Hey.
that is so weird. Like, God, I didn't know it exists. I need to do research now on that thing. I want to join.
So bottom line is, you can see how influential Star Wars is.
Exactly. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like about upholding what the Jedi, like the fictional Jedi, stood for, and turning it into real world application of like their beliefs and things like that could benefit a society as a whole.
It's actually crazy, the fact that we actually do have like the Jedi in this call now.
Right?
Jedi Knight, by the way.
Right. Anyway, what would you rate this movie?
Oh, right, I forgot we're doing a review.
That's fine.
Holy shit, that's actually really cool though. For me, I will say it brought a new light to me when it came to Star Wars because before, again, it was just Clone Wars era. And seeing this, it was a good kind of palate cleanser to what I knew about Star Wars. And yeah, it was just fun to watch, and it is rewatchable. It is not a drag when you like say watch the second movie of the prequel trilogy.
Hmm.
This one's actually legit good. The entire trilogy was legit good, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm willing to rewatch it again if we need to do another podcast on it. So yeah, I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. I'll give it that.
All right. How about you, Hazel?
Rating the original Star Wars.
Mhm.
Oh God. Especially with my taste in Star Wars. I know, like, basically the fan favorite movie is Episode 5. Everyone loved that the most, apparently. And then, obviously, we know Episode 3. I don't necessarily follow the popular opinion of how these movies are usually rated. Star Wars Episode 4, I will rate as a movie, as a movie as itself, right? Like, it doesn't have to be, this is a Star Wars thing.
No bias at all.
Just as a movie by itself, I would have to give it a solid 8.
All right. Yeah. If you take into account, I think this is one of the most important films in history, because like if you see sci-fi films or films in general back before Star Wars, it's like just dark, especially with sci-fi. Like, what are your choices? Star Wars or Planet of the Apes 2001 and Soylent Green? Like, wow. All right. Yeah. But yeah, and you see going forward, they're like, all right, let's go crazy here. So yeah, even though some of the things might be outdated, especially like maybe the choreography and some of the effects, but overall,
They got better.
yeah, overall, I just really like this movie, and I think it's a very great movie with great characters, an amazing first chapter to an amazing saga, and these characters and this franchise has proven that they will go on forever because it's still going strong until now. But yeah, like you guys, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. Yeah. But yeah, that's been our discussion and review of Star Wars: A New Hope for its 45th anniversary. I will be talking about the other ones too, don't worry. But yeah, you can find us, Geeks and Degenerates, at Facebook at facebook.com/Geeks and Degenerates. I got confused.
Are you okay?
Yes. We react to trailers, we stream video games, we also do some live streams of us just, chatting.
You do this all week, man. You forgot the outro.
No, I thought, for some reason my brain thought I made it reverse. I'm like, wait.
No, just go on.
But yeah, individually, you can find me at IG at Gandalfus1995. Same with Twitter. How about you guys?
You can find me at JomJOM on Instagram. It is me.
Instagram is Sapphire Hazel and the number 7. I think it's also the same for Twitter, and then YouTube and Twitch is just Sapphire Hazel.
Alright. And please remember to stay safe, wear masks, social distance, and get vaccinated if you can get your booster, for fuck's sake, already. And that's all the time we have for now, folks. We'll see you on the next one, which will, of course, be the next Star Wars movie. So, bye.
Bye.